Over the past few years, Angry Blackmen have been building up their brand and finding their lane in hip-hop. With their debut album, The Legend of ABM, we find them planted solidly amongst peers like JPEG Mafia and Clipping, and for good reason. This project immediately hits us with an aggressive yet accessible production from Derek Allen, along with lyrical content that is at times incredibly blunt and to the point, and clear of their intentions. They mentioned that the project delves into topics ranging from capitalism to Afrofuturism to black masculinity, all of which is well seen on the title track The Legend of ABM. Through much of the project, we get these ideas sprinkled in further, such as on the melancholic track Grind, where we see them mentioned on one of the only hooks on the project, working 9 to 5 on the grind just to stay alive, money on my mind when I rhyme just to get a dime. While Grind may feel a bit more light-hearted in nature and delivery, we see some of these ideas turn into frustration later on with tracks like Fuck Off and Sabotage, where the duo addresses the struggles of existing in a capitalistic society where we're all expected to participate and live out our dreams, but only if those dreams are deemed worthy of living out. Aside from all of that, one of the biggest takeaways for this album, for me at least, is that this is a true and proper introduction to the duo, and they really do give you a reason to care. The aggressive and almost abrasive at time production acts as an excellent and effective backdrop for them to express themselves. Through the beginning of the project, we hear them create essentially a cinematic piece until we reach the title track, where we get a proper introduction from their friend Yuki Fujinami, who is both the voice speaking in Japanese on this track, as well as the person on the cover. Her interlude roughly translates to, once upon a time in this dystopic wilderness known as America, there lived two angry black men. After a brief hiatus, our heroes Brian and Quentin have returned. Angry black men are back to take the industry by storm. As we proceed through the rest of the album, we get to know the duo a bit better with tracks like Suicidal Tendencies, where we hear Quentin get pretty personal with his reflections on his mental health, leaving Chicago, and his car accident in Santa Fe, which still haunts him to this day. And we also hear this reference throughout the track as well on like Dead Man Tell No Tale. Shortly after that track, we have another solo track from Brian with Amor Proprio, which roughly translates to self-esteem / self-love, which is appropriate because this track has him being more personal and open about the relationship that he has with himself, while also touching on some of the things that he's been dealing with in his life up until this point. As the album wraps up, we have the tracks Outsiders and Magnum Opus, both of which do well to tie everything together. With Outsiders, we have a proper follow-up to the title track, where they're addressing how they've been maneuvering through hip-hop and finding their audience through the past few years. The final track, Magnum Opus, really lives up to the title by basically taking the themes and topics that we've heard throughout the project thus far and puts a bow on it without making it seem repetitive. It's a good reminder of what we spent the last 10 tracks listening to and learning about. It could also be seen as an interesting inclusion because the production is so much more airy and almost ominous, which the additional vocals from Abby from the Mars complements well. Overall, I really enjoyed this project, and I don't really know what I expected because, truthfully, I haven't listened to Angry Blackmen since they sent over Riot back in late 2018. I'm really happy to see that they found a lane that suits them well. This project really does scratch that clipping itch that I've been missing over the past few years without it going too far into it and still remaining fairly accessible. My favorite tracks are The Legend of ABM, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Outsiders, Magnum Opus, and Stanley Kubrick. That's all I have for this review. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this album if you've listened to it. If you haven't, definitely check it out. It's only about 30 minutes. And while you're down in the comments discussing the project, make sure you like and subscribe to see more content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.